Hey there guys, Merry pre-Christmas Eve. Thanks for joining me for this question video today. There's only 2 more left, and well, today's one of them. We're gonna go ahead and start with a Facebook message that I received from... Oh, hold on, that can't be right. Alright now, David Carbo, that's the 3rd question video you somehow found a way to sneak into. I mean, really, you're getting almost as bad as Tim. Let's start over, hold back a second, alright? Guys, I think it's time that you meet my friend David. Pretty impressive, isn't it? Now, the film didn't go anywhere, but it sure made for one heck of a trailer. Although, I think the biggest problem with that trailer was that it ended up spoiling the ending for all of its audiences. But what is the title? What does it mean? How do you pronounce it? Well, we all know I was so good at explaining Stafeezy. David, I've got some ideas, and I'm gonna need your help. You hang tight. But right now, I'll go ahead and answer that second question you've got. David Carbo asks, would you ever like to do videos or projects with other possibly famous YouTubers? Yes. Moving on. You know, there are lots of YouTubers that I'd never seen before that I'm starting to meet now, and they're fantastic people, and I love their channels and the directions they're going. Collaborations with them? Absolutely. But everybody does get a little bit starstruck sometimes. I mean, have you seen the people that go to VidCon? Alright, let me just go ahead and put this in perspective for you guys. Here's a really short list of really famous YouTubers that I'd love to meet and or do a collaboration with. Top of the list? sWooZie. He lives in Orlando and frequently goes to Disney. I'd say there's a high chance that I might just run into him one day. Especially if I land that job working as a character, no doubt I'll see him at least once. I think the hardest part though is gonna be seeing him and still having to stay in character. Now, you look like a lost boy. Have you met my friend Tinkerbell? You look familiar. Wanna pose for a picture? Lips. Who wants to color Quasimodo's lips? Second on my list would probably be Katie Wayne. I admire her for creating a character that has somehow transcended beyond her own personal popularity, and for a time was regarded as an actual person. That's like an actor's dream. Of course, for a time it was a bit of a nightmare, but look at her now. Of course, she does live somewhere out in California, so... However, she does know sWooZie. And apparently, once you reach a certain subscriber count threshold, buying a plane ticket becomes like purchasing a bottle of water, or so it seems. Third, Tobuscus. Toby Turner is huge. Got a feeling if I ever did meet him, it'd probably be in passing at a convention of some kind. I'd just love to be in one of his lazy vlogs. Fourth, Freddie Wong. That one's becoming near impossible now, especially considering that Freddie Wong is 1 foot in YouTube and the other foot out the door. He's moving on to bigger and better things. Not to say that I wouldn't actually meet him in the film industry. And 5th, it honestly doesn't matter what movie I'm in, as long as it's parody by how it should have ended, I think I can die a happy man. So those are just a few of my stretch goals. Just little ones. Big, huge little ones. The YouTube community is a wild and vibrant place. And to be honest, anything can happen. And I think that's honestly what makes YouTube so inspiring. Oh, I segued. Did you catch it? No, of course you didn't catch it. I haven't told you the next question yet. This next question comes in from Jared Belcher. He sent me a message on Facebook and he says, what inspires you to strive toward your goals? Well guys, there's a lot of things that drive me towards my goals. A lot of things that are pretty common. Friendship, family, faith. But I want to say something that's a little bit different for this video. To answer your question, what can really be inspiring is knowing that your goals are more easily obtainable than you think. You see, sometimes taking things just one little step at a time can really put things in perspective. When you start accomplishing those goals, one little piece, every step of the way, you're accomplishing more and more and more and more. Before you know it, you're at the top of the staircase. This is a really good way to watch time fly, so be careful. Well, I also believe that a lot of times we can lose our inspiration and fall back and forget why we're doing the things we're doing. But that's what I absolutely love about acting. No matter how many days you spent rehearsing, when you get on stage for your opening night and the audience walks through that door, you get this insane rush inside of you that you just have to speak your lines. You have to let it out somehow. And no matter what, after that first show, because of the audience, you're inspired to do more. That's the exact same way I look at YouTube. Reading your comments, your questions. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Your feedback is more important to me than subscribers. I'm not just saying that. In the past 11 days, releasing these videos, I've gained maybe 5 subscribers at the most. But you know what I have gotten? I've gotten the chance to talk with a lot of people that I haven't really been in contact with for a long time. We've been Facebook friends, sure, but because of this channel, we're reconnecting. And that's what's inspired me to continue on more than anything else. And I'm gonna keep doing it, because I don't want to let that go. For the last question of this video, guys, I'm going to end with Sierra Gardner. She asked through a Facebook message, what was your favorite moment in high school? This is a really tough one, Sierra, because it's a toss-up between doing the lights for Runaways at the state competition or our first Actor's Nightmare cast outing, and everyone subsequent after that. So I'm gonna do both. I'll have one solo one and one group one. The reason why I chose that moment from Runaways was because previous to that, I really had no experience working a lighting board for a stage. Now, I knew the numbers, I knew the cues, I knew what I wanted to do for lighting, but I was given such limited control over this giant lighting board for this huge theater. Morsani Hall is what we consider the Star Wars theater because of its many tiered levels. And I remember getting up way up in the lighting booth and looking out through this little tiny hole. And on the other side, there was this giant viewing window, of course, and the whole place looked like the inside of a starship cockpit. And I remember walking in there with my cue book, silent, dead silent. It was my job to set up the lights before the show, so that when it came time for us to go, I'd be ready to roll. Thing is I'd really never touched one of those things before, and honestly didn't know how far I could take it before I messed something up. So I stood there, and I stared at the person who was supposed to be helping me. He was the coordinator, the lighting director for the theater hall. And he sat in his chair, laying back, looking me right in the eyes. I had a lot of thoughts running through my head. I thought, do I say something? Should I sit down? Should I just get to work? I felt as if that the entire performance was riding on this one moment. Is there a chance that we might lose the competition because I don't know what I'm doing here? And in a moment of honesty that I chastised myself for in the moment, I literally blurted out, this is my first time doing this. I don't exactly know how to, I've got the cue book here. In that minute, he took his little rolly chair and slid on over to where I was supposed to be sitting and very kindly proceeded to show me how to work the lights. After I broke the ice, everything became 10 times easier, and I started to play around with it. By the end of the whole ordeal, when the last number was playing and everybody was in a row on stage singing their parts, some of them started to cry because they knew that they were seniors and this was going to be the last time they were ever in a competition together on stage, holding hands and singing out. So yes, those were genuine tears. And to be honest, so many hundreds of feet away, in my little lighting booth, I could see that and I could feel it. And as I held up those lights for the last few seconds until those notes had finished, I felt as if I was singing with them in a weird way. The song stopped, lights down, thunderous applause. Success. Now, Sierra, you were part of my cast in The Actor's Nightmare, and that group has been the best bunch of actors I've ever directed. That entire experience made me a better director, period. But we became more than just peers, actors, director. We became friends. You see, you guys were so good at learning your blocking and your lines. Me and my co-director, Adam, decided, hey, let's do something fun. And what do? We went laser tagging and roller skating. And that was the first time I had ever done both. I was pretty good at the laser tag, but you put me in a pair of roller skates and get me on that, no. I was slip sliding everywhere. You remember? It was you, Katie, David, Adam, my first time out in roller skates, and they happened to call for everybody who doesn't want to participate in the relay race to please step off the rink. And of course, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not gonna be fast enough. I'm just gonna be a hindrance out there and probably get myself or someone else hurt. Let me get off the rink. Let me go ahead and do that. I'm on the far end. I've got to cross the entire place, and I'm wibbling and wobbling everywhere until I fall on my butt. I can't thank you guys enough for rushing out to come and get me and push me along. But really, I was just making you guys fall over too. And so here I am, scooting my butt across the floor like a dog, trying to cover as much ground as possible as all the lights are on in the rink and everybody who's gonna get off is already off on the sidelines staring at me. Everybody else lined up for the races, staring at me, and I'm just trying to get away as fast as I possibly can. Didn't take long before the phones came out, and well, you guess what happened next. I'm still trying really hard, but I can't seem to find any videos for Kid Scoots Butt Along roller skating rink on YouTube. But if you guys find it and see me, please let me know. I'd love to see that video. But I got 10 times better at roller skating because we went so many different times. We went a few more times before the show, and after we performed, we kept going because we just liked hanging out together. Tell you what, guys, if you ever take a class with somebody, you'll learn to like them. Get them outside of school, and then you learn to love them. Okay, I think that about does it for this video, guys. I still have quite a few more questions to answer for tomorrow, of course, last video. But let's not get sad yet. No sad faces on Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been lovely. We should do this more often. Please, before you go, don't forget, you can like, you can comment down below, you can subscribe. You know, I've recently just thought, what are you gonna comment about? Because I'm no longer accepting questions. Now that is a conundrum. As always, life is a play, and the play is the thing. For the last time, I'll see you tomorrow.
Ho, 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 Stafeezy. I already stalk you.